Welcome to The Terrible Take, a mini podcast telling Steelers Nation what's on our mind. I'm Dave Bryan. Who is the Pittsburgh Steelers player currently on the team's 90-man roster that is most likely to make the initial 53-man roster of the group of 8 or 10 that many would currently have listed as being outside the bubble? See where I'm going with that question? It's a long one, but it's a good one, right? And one that's really tough to answer. After some thought, I came up with inside linebacker Ulysees Gilbert III as my best answer to that long question. Look, you'd be hard-pressed to find many people who have UG3 as a lock to make the Steelers' 53-man roster out of training camp right now, and with good reason. After all, Gilbert has spent nearly half of his first 2 NFL seasons on the Steelers' reserve injured list with back and ankle issues. That's not good at all, and it certainly makes him seem injury-prone at this point, if there is such a thing. While Gilbert has been a disappointment as a whole since entering the NFL with the Steelers in 2019 as a 6th-round draft pick, when he has seen the field, his play hasn't been awful, and especially on special teams. In his first 2 seasons with the Steelers, Gilbert has managed to amass 8 total special teams tackles, and that was in just 11 games that he dressed for and played in. While Gilbert has only played a total of 34 defensive snaps to date, all of which came in 2 games last season, there were a few positives within those snaps. Obviously, the biggest thing with Gilbert to date has been his health, and that should be the Akron product's biggest concern the remainder of this offseason. Are his back issues behind him once and for all? We shall see. This year's training camp will mark Gilbert's 3rd, and with that, he should be expected to have a solid grasp of the Steelers' defense, and that in turn should allow him to play faster than he ever has before. He's spent enough time on special teams to date that he should also know what all is expected out of him in that phase of the game. The Steelers require the backup linebackers to be special teams capable, and if possible, core members to boot. That should be Gilbert if he stays healthy. The Steelers obviously will have inside linebacker Devin Bush back healthy in 2021, and the same goes for Robert Spillane as well. The team selected inside linebacker Buddy Johnson in this year's draft, so he should be another lock to make the 53-man roster this year. While veteran Vince Williams was also re-signed this offseason after initially having his contract terminated in March, I'm not so sure you can consider him a lock to make the 53-man roster out of camp, and the same goes for converted safety Marcus Allen as well. So, what does this all mean when it comes to Gilbert this summer? Well, I wouldn't bet the farm that he'll ultimately make the Steelers' 53-man roster out of training camp into preseason. I also wouldn't bet it that he won't. Personally, I'm rooting for Gilbert to get past his injury woes once and for all, as I believe a healthy version of him would certainly be an asset to the 2021 Steelers. Be sure to follow us at SteelersDepot.com and check out episodes of The Terrible Take every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out The Terrible Podcast with myself and Alex Kozora every Tuesday and Friday.